All right. Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2. Think I'm coming in pretty good. What is going on, everybody? Man, it's actually raining outside here in the Valley of the Sun, aka Phoenix. And I'm actually on, I guess you would say, a staycation, taking a break from work and just getting my mind away from all the artificial intelligence and technology stuff just to take a little breather. But I figure I give you guys a little bit of a little bit of a stream today since I got a lot of free time. Let's see. Salute Survival. Good to see you, sir. My man Free Zone. Good to see you as well. And of course, JJ. Good to see you as well. But yeah, I figured I'd do a little stream on a certain topic. I've talked about this before, but I was like, you know what? This is in need of a part two. And like I told um Free Zone, like I told Free Zone, this one definitely I've been meaning to do this and whatnot. But yeah. So just to recap, title it is foolish to try to change the nature of things. For those who haven't seen the first one, before I get started, Clue, yeah, I'm gonna rock that Palpatine going forward because that definitely my personality. So. Salute to you. We're swamping right about now. Yeah, it's also getting pretty swamped too in my area, so that's why I need a little break. Especially right now, I wish I could just travel over the Pacific Ocean to the land of the rising sun, but I'll get a chance to do that later on. But in any case, for those who don't remember the part one, I talked about prisons back in ancient Japan, feudal Japan, and then prisons in modern Japan, today's time. And if you remember that first one, it was more imagery where, we read some articles and whatnot, and you guys had to imagine the conditions that went on in Japan. And so there wasn't really much visuals for you guys to see in part one. But lo and behold, a few weeks ago or a few weeks back, SKC was doing a stream and he um he was showing the prison conditions in some country, I want to say down in Latin America, if not South America. I know Free Zone include um you guys in the chat, y'all probably remember that clip that SKC showed what country it was in. But in any case, I was there and I was telling Free Zone, I was like, I think I'm gonna have to do a part two on the Japanese prison. Yeah, that's it. Free Zone got it, El Salvador. And it was just interesting, just how they were conditioned for the prison life and how they were um, disciplined, I should say. And I was telling the Free Zone in the chat, like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do a part two of the Japanese prison that I talked about in part one. But this time, I got some visual presentation, so you actually will be able to see what the prison life is like in Japan. So you guys, you gentlemen, are definitely going to be in for a treat because the only thing I can tell you is, and in fact, before I transition to that topic, I found this clip that was very interesting, and it actually ties in perfectly well of what I'm going to be talking about on today's stream. And I figured you guys would like to see it too. So let me go ahead and share that. All right, here we go. And so, yeah, survival. Last time we talked about it, Japanese trials have a 99% conviction rate. So, in some form or another, you will be doing time in a Japanese jail. But in any case, I would like Mr. Roger to kind of tell everybody if y'all remember the diagram F around and you find out. Well, he actually gave some more information that I think is very, very helpful. And you'll see why. So let me get my fair use thing here. Where's it at? Here we go. Let me get this going. All right. So here we go. Enjoy.
Hi. So today's lesson, we're going to talk about a different phenomena on this graph here that I think that you need to be aware of. I'm going to use just a hypothetical story that I'm going to completely make up out of my own head that really applies to nobody at all. Okay. So let's say, for instance, there's a comedian and an actor. Okay. They've worked together over the years, maybe not together, but they definitely know each other. They've interacted over the years, and there's nothing new here, right? So let's just say we're at some kind of an event, and the comedian cracks a little joke about the actor's wife. Little joke, no big deal. This is part of the business. So it's just a little bald-faced joke that shouldn't cause any reaction. This is fucking around at a 1 or maybe even a 0, right? But all of a sudden, the actor responds with a level 10, which the comedian finds out right here. So then you would feel like maybe the gradient line should go something like this. But there's an underlying factor here, okay? The comedian fucked around at a level 1. No big deal. But what the actor mistook was that, say, his wife had been fucking around at a 9, right? So that fucking around gets added to the comedian's activities, putting them at a fuck around level of 10. Okay. And that would explain the find out of 10. When the actions of you or somebody else, maybe at a level 1 fuck around, get added with the actions of another, that's called a fuck around entanglement.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness. Yaku, he's one of my favorites too here on YouTube. But you know what? There's actually some truth to what he's talking about. And we all know who he's talking about and everything. But what he was getting at is this. What he's getting at is this. You could be, doing your own thing and whatnot. And, you could say you're effing around at a 1 level. But people you are associated with escalated to the point to where it just went from a level 1 to a level 10. And so now you're about to find out at a level 10. What am I getting at this? Be careful who you associate with, all right? And this is especially true when you're going to be traveling overseas or just going anywhere outside of America. Just keep in mind, the rules that you was able to abide by in America does not apply in other countries. In other words, the things that you was able to get away with in America definitely uh if you do that in another country, you will definitely find out the consequences. But let's continue.
And what can happen with an entanglement like that is what it can happen is rock it will rock the axis here, the fuck around axis. All right. And what can happen is if this happens to you repeatedly over time, it can cause you to become jaded. Jaded. Okay. So just remember that sometimes it may not be your actions that cause the find out, but maybe your actions are entangled with the actions of another, which will rock the fuck around axis, causing you to become jaded.
One more. Okay.
I hope that this lesson is helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Roger. So there you have it. You mess around, and the actions of another person you're associated with will rock your world. Okay. All right. All right. So I hope y'all keep that in mind. I hope you keep that in mind that even here in America, okay, what you do and whom you associate with is going to have bearings on outcomes and consequences of your life. Just saying. Just saying. Not many people believe that, but all I can say is, hey, F around and you'll find out. All right. Um, who says, does this occur mostly in the month of August? Who knows? Who knows? I'm kind of one where I try to avoid, you know, certain people that do crazy stuff, but who knows when they get involved like that. Anywho, anywho. All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes. So, like I said, part one, it was more imagery. All I did was just read articles and whatnot, and you all had to imagine what prison life was like in Japan. Now, part two, we're going to get some visuals on what we have been talking about for so long. So, for those who think that they can travel to the land of the rising sun and just act a fool because, so to speak, you're an American or you're not Japanese and you could do whatever you want, I hope you tune in to this stream so you get an idea of what will happen. Just like Survival just said in the chat, Japanese prison has or Japanese trials have a 99% conviction rate. So, you want to find out? Here you go. Let's find out together. Let me get. Oh, by the way, before I get started, um, you can blame this on SKC. SKC is what inspired this stream. So there you have it. There you have it. Okay, so let us get a small preview of what we are about to witness. Here we go. And fair use, but here we go.
Nagano, in the heart of the Japanese mountains. After months of negotiations, we have been given permission to film inside the prison.
Hello. Ah, そうですか。すみません。私担当がですね、だから受刑者を受け持つ担当になりました。
The prison houses 900 inmates, all men, ranging from common offenders to murderers. The management has established some terms. We are not allowed to film the doors or question the guards in front of the inmates. And above all, we are not allowed to address the prisoners.
So, after, like they said, after months of negotiating, this film crew was able to get permission to film what it's like at a Japanese prison, but under certain conditions. Number one, you cannot film the doors, meaning the transition gates within the Japanese prison. Number two, you cannot question the guards in front of the Japanese prisoners. And then last but not least, you are not even allowed to speak to the Japanese prisoners. Okay. So that should tell you right there and there how serious this is going to be. But let's continue.
At the end of filming, only 2 of them will be able to answer our questions, in the presence of the guards. Over the course of 2 days, we will discover the Japanese prison world. From a Western perspective, it is a disciplinary hell.
Okay. Notice how they are walking. And yes, when you're in a Japanese prison, doesn't matter if you're a foreigner, you have to walk from place to place marching just like what you see. Yeah, survival. Oh yes. And believe me, there's more. There's more.
Inside, we are struck by the silence, by the impeccable order. Even the sandals are lined up in front of the cells. In the morning, the prisoners are woken up by the guards' shouts, but also by classical music. The prisoners are woken up by the guards' shouts, but also by classical music. The prisoners are woken up by the guards' shouts, but also by classical music. The prisoners are woken up by the guards' shouts, but also by classical music. The prisoners are woken up by the guards' shouts, but also by classical music.
Wait. So you're telling me that in a Japanese prison, they wake you up by the sound of classical music? You mean to tell me they're not blasting, you know, the so-called hip hop stuff? I mean, surely they surely for these outlaws and the uncivilized, surely they gotta be blasting them with music that is of their background, you know, like the y'all heard the music before. Y'all heard the ruckus that they play in, you know, at least the American prisons and whatnot. You mean to tell me they don't play that in Japan? Wow, very interesting. And keep in mind, like they just talked about earlier, look how neatly they have their sandals and shoes posted near their door. I mean, you talk about being civil. Hey, what's going on, Sage Highwayman? But let's continue. Survival said it'd be more punishment to hear K-pop. No clue. That's why I get it. No talks of murder. No talks of I'ma get my money and no music talking about going to be drive-by shooting and I'm gonna shoot up the club. None of that. It's like it's a totally different world outside of a. But let's continue. Let's continue.
In some cells, 6 men. Others are individual cells, reserved for the best behaved prisoners. Here there is no prison overcrowding like in European countries, and no unsanitary conditions either. The building is modern and perfectly clean, but the prisoners' lives are regulated precisely to the millimeter. Every move is timed.
Okay, so that's a small little preview right there. But there's more. There's more. Don't think for a second that was just, oh, that's just one little thingamajig that goes on. Oh, but you would be wrong. You would be wrong. So let's hear a testimony from a guy who still lives in Japan, but he spent some time in a Japanese prison. Salute to you, Logic's finest. He says, before I share, he says, question. If Black American culture is non productive and self destructive, is there a rational argument to keep it going? Get out of there, Logic. Get out of there. Today we're just talking about, Japanese prisons, but there is some connectivity to that. All right. So let me pull up this next video so you all can hear a testimony of a guy who spent some time in a Japanese prison. Fair use. Here we go.
Another Frenchman has a traumatic experience in the Japanese prison system. He has inside experience of the way inmates are treated. Mark Karpeles is 35 years old. He has a mild form of Asperger's syndrome. He's also a computer genius. He was locked up for 11 months, but he decided to stay in Japan after his release.
Hi, 3名です。吸わないです。はい。
A good meal, a pleasure he forgot while he was incarcerated.
J'ai perdu 35 kilos au commissariat.
Okay, I know it was hard to see, but let me rewind it back. He said he lost 35 kilograms at the police station. Somebody might have to do the conversion for me, but I want to say 35 kilograms, that's roughly about, like almost a little over 100 pounds. If someone in the chat could do the conversion, I want to say it's a little over 100 pounds. There we go. Logic says 72 pounds. So while he was in prison, okay, 72 to 90 pounds. So roughly between that. This dude lost almost 90 pounds while he was in prison. Because that's just how it is in Japan. But let's continue.
Commissariat. Et j'ai repris 5 kilos au centre de détention. J'étais complètement méconnaissable en sortant du commissariat. Et le plus dur, c'est vraiment d'attendre et d'être seul, de rien avoir à faire hein, et de ne rien pouvoir faire. C'est dans une cellule de 6 mètres carrés et être là assis et attendre et attendre et attendre. Ce qui est dur, c'est non seulement de ne rien avoir à faire, mais c'est aussi de ne pas savoir quand ça va se finir.
His case is a huge scandal in Japan. It starts in 2014. Mark Karpeles made his fortune in Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. But when his company goes bankrupt, he has to apologize publicly to an audience of journalists.
Okay, so just to give you an idea of what happened. Oh no, free zone. Oh no. There's no talk of that in Japan. You're expected to rehabilitate yourself. It's not other people's job to rehabilitate you, the person. But just to give you guys an idea of what happened, this guy back in 2014 ran a cryptocurrency bank in Japan. Hey, again, we talk about how you're able to go to Japan and start businesses and whatnot. And this guy, he went and did it. But let's just say his bank wasn't doing so well during that time and it collapsed. So a lot of money was lost. And guess what? The authorities, they caught wind of it. So this dude had to publicly apologize to the Japanese people for his bank collapsing. No, this ain't no somebody, video is like, yeah, I'm going to do whatever I want and everything because I'm that guy. I'm that, you know what? Oh, no. You don't want to do that when you're in Japan. The last thing you want to do is bring unnecessary attention to yourself. And you'll see why.
Soon it is discovered that millions of euros have disappeared, and he is accused of stealing the money. The nightmare begins.
Ça, c'est le 1er août à 6h41 du matin. C'est le moment où, en fait, les policiers sortent de chez moi, avec moi au milieu. À ce moment-là, c'est assez compliqué parce que d'un côté, j'étais entouré de policiers. Il y en a 2 qui me tiennent de chaque côté. J'avais aussi une corde autour de la taille qui était connectée à un policier derrière moi. Ils ont assisté à ce que j'ai une casquette sur la tête. Dans la tradition japonaise, c'est on arrête les cons, on lui cache le visage.
Mark Karpeles spends 4 months in custody. Then he is transferred to Kosuge prison, where Carlos Ghosn was locked up. To prove that the prisoners were being treated well, the authorities opened their doors to journalists last year. There too, everything is clean and tidy. But according to Mark Karpeles, it's not the decor that drives you crazy, it's the rules. In Kosuge, the prisoners are awaiting trial. They don't work, and they're in solitary confinement.
Dans la cellule, il faut être assis au bon endroit, de la bonne façon. Il n'y a que deux façons de s'asseoir qui sont autorisées, donc soit à la japonaise, soit en tailleur. À la japonaise, c'est la façon de se poser comme ça. Donc on a notre petite table ici.
Okay, before I move, Seeking My Creator asks a great question. And what's going on, Spiritual Hawk? He asks, what does a public apology mean in Japan? So, a good way to look at this, Seeking My Creator, is the fact that in Japanese culture, politeness is expected out of people. So, even if you did not necessarily did something wrong, it shows character when you can take responsibility. So a public apology, especially when you're running a public sector, is expected out of you when your company did something very negative in the public eye. So in this case, his cryptocurrency bank just collapsed spontaneously. So a lot of people lost their money. And so they expected him to take responsibility. So that's what it means to have a public apology in Japan. Um Alrighty. Okay, looks like I'm back. Looks like I'm back. Okay, let's do this. Um I'll put the banner up. This should hopefully keep it from the people from coming through. Let's see. Okay, this should do it. Um, I'll say they just put it down whatnot because so to speak, you got to have the fair use sign up and everything. So, but it's all good. Show will continue. Show will continue. And I'm actually looking right now. Looks like everything is back up and going. Okay, so back to what I was saying before I was interrupted. Yeah, so when you are a public sector in Japan, a public um actually Alice, that's a great point. Let me do this. Have it scroll at the bottom. Where is it at? Just had it. Huh. Wait a minute, I just had it. Where'd it go? One moment, people. I'm actually creating a little banner at the bottom. Shout out to Alice for giving me the idea. So let's do this. Okay, that should do it. All right. So that should do it. That should keep them from getting too crazy. And yeah, I think we'll be fine. So shout out to you, Alice. Thanks for that. But anywho, before I was zapped, um, yeah. So if you have a public company in Japan and it goes it goes to it goes, to crap and everything, um, it's expected out of you to do a public apology. So that's why. Now, this next section here, um, Free Zone, you said make the screen smaller. Let me see. Let's do that. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. So, what this guy is talking about, and I'll definitely try to translate it as best I can. So, while you're in prison in Japan, you're going to be sitting pretty much 80% of the time while you're in prison, and you won't really have much to do. So, in other words, you either got to sit Japanese style, what this guy is showing, where you're pretty much just sitting on your knees the whole time, or you get to sit cross leg, or what we call here Indian style. Now, here's a problem. If you're a big guy, sitting Japanese style is very difficult. Not saying it's impossible, but it is very difficult. So let's continue, and I'll try to translate it.
Et en tailleur, je peux le faire. Hop. En tailleur, on peut se mettre comme ça. Pas le droit de parler, pas le droit de siffler ou de faire comme ça.
He says when you're sitting down, you cannot talk, you cannot whistle, you can't even make a peep when you're sitting. You just have to sit there and literally do nothing. But let's see what happens when he screwed around.
Pas le droit de la musique. Le droit donc de lire. Il y a un moment, j'ai pété les plombs, j'ai donné un coup de poing contre la porte. Les gardes sont arrivés en renfort.
So he just said while he was sitting one time, he freaked out and he started punching the walls. And at this point, 15, 15 guards came into his cell. And that's what he found out.
Genre une quinzaine de gardes. Et je me suis retrouvé ficelé et transporté dans les cellules de comment dire. Ils ont une cellule spéciale pour ces cas-là.
It's an empty padded cell where he spends 4 hours tied up.
So they tied this dude up and put him in a padded cell for 4 hours. But his punishment is not done.
Then he is punished for 4 days. No more books or writing materials. Finally, after nearly a year behind bars, he is tried, declared innocent of embezzlement, and released. He's given a suspended sentence on another charge. Officially, he remains a guilty man.
So that's his testimony. That guy went he messed around and he found out. Even though he was found not guilty of embezzlement, stealing money and all, he did get sentenced for a minor infraction. So, in a way, wasn't free. Survivor asks, torture for a year to be found innocent. Yep. And guess what? You can complain to United Nations all you want about how bad you was treated in a Japanese prison. They will not be able to do a thing. You could even complain to the president of the United States. They will not be able to do a thing. Why? Because Japan is its own sovereign nation. In other words, what goes on in Japan, you got to abide by the rules and laws set forth in Japan. And if y'all remember, on part one that I did, I shared an article where a father and son literally was exported from America to Japan to do prison time because they did something illegal, and they thought if they can travel back here to America that, America will keep them from having to do prison time in Japan. Nope. The authorities in Japan called the authorities here in America, and America's like, hey, you did the crime, you got to do the time, even if it's in another country. And they took them, put them on the next plane to Tokyo, and I think as of that video, I don't know if they're out now, but at least as of that video, they were in prison. So says, so wait, no male, gang warfare, spraying or throwing around of body fluids facilitate of criminal activities. Oh yeah, it is very, very civilized in a Japanese prison. So, like I said, you mess around and you will find out. You will find out. It's okay. But we're not done yet. Not done yet. Definitely got more coming down the pipe. So here's another testimony of a guy who did some time in a Japanese prison. And I want you guys to have a look for yourself. Have a look for yourself. Now, this one is in English. So this is an Englishman, but I want you to hear his testimony. In fact, let me do this. Let's make this full screen. Okay, that should do it. All right, here we go.
Long hallway with prison doors on each side. Then he opened the door with a key and told me to go inside. That was the beginning of long stretches. Hard time. They gave me a rule book. They told me I was expected to read and remember this rule book. They had every aspect of your life ruled and regulated and regimented. And if these rules aren't followed, that you will be punished. I was thinking, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to be able to remember all these rules, let alone follow them. I kind of anticipated some trouble there. You are expected on command to step out of the cell door, turn around and face the wall until another command is given, where you will turn around and march to the factory where you will work. Most of the time my work was constructing paper shopping bags.
Okay, so like you just said, because you're a foreigner, they don't expect you to know all the rules once you get there. but they will give you a handbook. And for what you saw, the handbook is in English, so they will give you a handbook in your native tongue. And they expect you to know the rules of that prison inside and out. They're not going to sit up here and give you a crash course of, hey, I'm gonna hold your hand and show you what you need to do and what to obey while you're in prison. Nope. They just give you a handbook and say, you better figure it out before you find out. Oh boy, I tell you. We definitely got it easy here in America. I don't care what anybody says. We got it easy here in America. But yet, you have people complaining that we are not doing enough here in America. You're like, okay, have that same energy for what's going on here in Japan. You think you'll be able to talk so freely in Japan? Do you really want to test the system and think you can buck the system? You really think so? Ah, as they say, find out at your own peril. But anywho, let's listen to what this guy had to do on the job. As you just heard, he had to create shopping paper bags. In other words, grocery store bags as his job while in prison.
Was expected to take the bag off of the in pile and perform one fold or glue one seam only, and then pass it on to the next guy next to him, and it was his in pile. And I was thinking, are you kidding me? Marching. He marched everywhere. Your arms were coming up to 90 degrees. Each knee, which is 1, 2, 1, 2.
Free zone. Oh no. There are no tablets and no visits in a Japanese prison. I think they do visits, but first off, you only get a visit, I believe, once a month. And then there's no communication. At least, far as like with those thin walls and all. Nope. You're behind kind of like a 2-door system where you see the person, they see you, but that's it. And you just have to talk between those 2 doors. Clue, that is the intention. My intention is to use this stream as a scare tactic. For any of those passport hoodlums that think they can travel to Japan and they can do whatever they want with no consequences, all you gotta do is just show them this stream, and we'll see if they brave enough to still venture over there. And so what you're just seeing, this guy's talking about how everywhere they go within the prison system, they have to march. They have to march. Oh, they would never here in America. Never. They would never. Oh, boy. Let's continue.
Here we were marching like robots. You'll go crazy. It just felt like a machine. On. After a few months more of this, I just had enough. one of the guards came up with a megaphone and started barking in my face. And I'm thinking, I've got to do something.
And it was at this point where he'd effed around and he found out. And let's see what he found out.
I just snapped. Pushed a megaphone into his face. And before I knew it, there were like guards pinning me to the ground, twisted off the collar of my shirt and choked off my airway. And eventually he choked me to the point of unconsciousness.
Ooh, boy. Mm-mm-mm. So you see. For those who didn't catch it, let me just rewind it so you can see what happened when he thought he could buck the system.
Thinking, got to snap. Pushed a megaphone into his face. And before I knew it, there were like guards pinning me to the ground, twisted off the collar of my shirt and choked off my airway. And eventually he choked me to the point of unconsciousness.
Yeah. Aha. Man. Now, Friezo. Yeah, about that. There is no white privilege in Japan. I don't care what they tell you. Some of the knuckleheads out there, like, well, the white guy, he goes to Japan and he's treated like a god. He's treated like a deity. He can't do no wrong. No. Places like Japan, skin color is not going to give you special privileges. It's either you abide by the laws or you find out. Abide by the laws or you find out. And let me tell you, let me just tell you, if this guy, whoever he is, I don't know his name or where he's from or, regardless of what he did to get put into a Japanese prison. But let me just tell you right now, if this dude who is blonde hair, blue eyed, if he is getting this type of treatment in a Japanese prison, what makes you believe that having melanated skin will somehow make you above the law? Oh boy. Yep. But hey, I still got more. In fact, I got one where it's a documentary. We may not watch the whole thing, but it will definitely give you some more ideas of what you will find out if you went to a Japanese prison. So go ahead and get this going. Man, where is the cool? So he can look at this too. Okay. All right. Now, this one, the language is in French, but they do have the translation in English. So hopefully you guys can see it. If not, then I'll definitely try my best to read the translation for you all. So let's find out some more.
直れ放水をしてもらう足踏み始め一緒一緒はい注意肘指先しっかり伸ばすよ一緒一緒
And yes, you will also be doing a lot of bowing. So I also want to put it out there that you better know how to bow. And there's even special types of bows. If you don't know how to do that, yeah. But let's continue.
La prison de Fuchu est l'une des plus importantes et des plus sévères du Japon. Elle n'est pas une prison.
By the way, this is a prison that's in the suburbs of Tokyo. So, and it says here it's not a model prison, but its system is pretty representative of other prison systems in Japan.
Prison modèle et le traitement pénitentiaire qui y est appliqué est tout à fait représentatif des pratiques courantes dans les autres prisons du pays.
Le jugement s'est fait après 3 mois. Donc, j'ai été condamné à 3 ans de prison. Donc, les contacts, ils se faisaient dans ce quartier à Changchun, qui est l'antre du business.
So this guy, I believe his name is Philip or Felipe Fatin. And he's going to tell you how he got caught up. And believe me, if I was him, I would not have even tried to get caught up. But you're going to see what he did. Here we go.
Pour les Indiens, les Népalais, Pakistanais, et donc à ces endroits, dans ces petits chai shops où on vient boire le thé, étant donné que les Népalais étaient interdits de séjour sur le Japon à cause du trafic, ils venaient ici pour chercher les jeunes voyageurs qui étaient des proies en fin de compte pour leur business. Moi j'ai été contacté par un Suisse qui avait déjà fait ce genre de run Et il m'avait mis en contact avec le Népalais pour faire un voyage, pour faire le rang.
Ça te rapportait combien?
C'était 1000 dollars, 1000 dollars américains. On est monté dans la chambre ensemble. Là, c'est allé très 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 vite. Je me suis déshabillé, ils m'ont ceinturé avec de l'adhésif, le kilo de hashish. Là, j'ai sauté dans le taxi, je suis parti. Et arrivé à l'aéroport, j'ai même pas eu le temps d'enregistrer mes bagages. Je suis monté direct dans l'avion avec mon sac. Et arrivé à Tokyo, je suis descendu.
So what ended up happening? He was in Hong Kong, and he got caught up in a Nepalese business. If I got that right, he got caught up in a Nepalese business that were drug trafficking. Now, I did not know, but they said Nepalese at this time were banned from coming to Japan, and so he essentially was doing a drug run for a Nepalese business. And as soon as he touched down in Tokyo, they were already suspicious of him. Now, keep in mind, this is a white man, not a colored man or a non-white. This is a white man doing something very illegal. And believe me, drug trafficking in Japan is almost on the grounds of a death sentence, if you say. And again, as soon as he touched down, he is already questioning by the authorities. And the next thing you know, you're going to see. No clue. Oh no. There's nothing that man can do to get you out of a Japanese prison. but let's continue.
Passé au contrôle et là, j'ai été interrogé de suite.
Je viens de Toulouse et j'ai arrêté mes études, j'ai entrepris de voyager pour compléter un peu ma culture et notamment mon anglais. Donc je viens de Thaïlande, j'ai visité un petit peu différents pays tels que le Népal, la Thaïlande, le Sri Lanka et puis notamment le Japon. Et donc j'ai rencontré diverses personnes et on est venu ici au Japon et c'est là que j'ai eu cette histoire en fait. Donc j'étais arrêté à l'aéroport de Narita avec une quantité avec cet Allemand en tout de 800 grammes environ de cannabis. Le contrôle s'est passé.
Wait. Let's rewind that back.
Arrêté à l'aéroport de Narita avec une quantité avec cet Allemand en tout de 800 grammes environ. Donc j'étais arrêté à l'aéroport de Narita avec une quantité avec cet Allemand en tout de 800 grammes environ de cannabis. Donc j'étais arrêté à l'aéroport de Narita avec une quantité avec cet Allemand en tout de 800 grammes.
Okay, for those who didn't catch the caption, first off, this guy went to these other countries in Southeast Asia, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Nepal, and they eventually made their way to Japan. Right as they touched down in Tokyo, they got arrested by the customs authority because they were in possession of 800 grams of weed. 800 grams of weed. Now, whoo, So I know there's some individuals out there that feel like there's nothing wrong with weed, that, it's there to help you, you know, get away from any sort of problems you having. It's there for medicine purpose and whatnot. So weed should be legal in all places of the world. I'm telling you right now that that's not happening in Japan. 800 grams of weed. And you oh boy. See, let me just say this. Let me just say this. And this is not a knock for the passport bros and whatnot. I'm pretty much in their corner. And I definitely want every man, not just, brothers, but every man out there, if you haven't been out of America, travel to these other countries, get different perspectives and everything. I am all for that. But don't think for a second, just because you are an American by blood, that you could just go to these other countries and the things that you were able to do here in America, you could go and do the same thing in these other countries. I'm telling you right now, don't take that chance. Just don't. And I've even said it before on these other streams. And this is specifically for brothers, but it can still be applied to other races of men as well, and even women at that. If you can't get the buffoonery out of your system, if you can't remove yourself from the dysfunctions of society, stay home. Stay home. Because I'm telling you right now, you try to take that same buffoonery and dysfunction into these other countries, and it's going to cost you. Especially for these gentlemen that we're going to talk about, they found out the hard way. So let's continue. Let's continue.
Grammes environ de cannabis. Le contrôle s'est passé à la douane. On avait à peu près la moitié, 400 grammes chacun environ. Lui, il les était donnés dans ses chaussures, enfin, ma grande surprise, parce qu'il devait l'avaler normalement. Et moi, je l'avais dans l'estomac.
Wait. Let me rewind that back.
Arrêté à l'aéroport de Nerita avec une quantité, donc avec cet Allemand, en tout de 800 grammes environ de cannabis. Le contrôle s'est passé à la douane. On avait à peu près la moitié, 400 grammes chacun environ. Lui, il les était donnés dans ses chaussures, enfin, ma grande surprise, parce qu'il devait l'avaler normalement. Et moi, je l'avais dans ses chaussures, enfin, ma grande surprise, parce qu'il devait l'avaler normalement. Et moi, je l'avais dans l'estomac. Donc, dans ses chaussures.
So, okay. Shout out to SKC. What's going on, sir? I may bring you up for this too later on. Some of you gents. But, okay. So, this dude they each had 400 grams of weed on their person. and his traveling partner, he was supposed to swallow, I guess, his portion, but instead he stuck it into his shoes. And see, that's why I played that clip earlier from Professor Roger in regards of will rock your entanglement, because you could be doing your own thing. You could be, following the rules and whatnot, and just trying to be civilized. But because of the actions of someone you're associated with who decided they want to F around and be a buffoon and be dysfunctional, now you too got to pay for the consequences. And this what happened to this gentleman here. He, first off, okay, he got caught with weed on him. So that's you know, that's his own fault. But then your traveling partner, let's just say for a moment this guy did not have weed on him whatsoever. His traveling partner has it in his shoes. Yeah, survival. According to this guy, he was supposed to swallow his portion of the weed. And he didn't. He just stuck it into his shoes. Knowing full well, you got to go through customs. And let me tell you, okay, last time I went to Japan, and first off, when you're arriving in Japan, they give you a little, I guess like a template piece of paper, and you have to write off as far as of your citizenship, your passport number, where you will be staying, the address of the place you'll be staying at. You also got to put down if there's you have somebody with you, do they have their citizenship and everything? You got to do all of that before you even come into contact with customs. Want to know why? Because once you get to customs, they're not going to even take that template. They're just going to ask you the questions. And if your answers don't match up with what they have on the template, let's just say you're in trouble. Now, thankfully, when I went through customs and all, it was actually pretty smooth. They just asked me like, "Hey, are you from the United States?" They're like, "Yep." It's like, "Can you proceed to show your passport?" "Yep, no problem." Where would you be staying here in Tokyo? It's like, "Yep, I'm going to be staying in Oraku, which is Ora City." He matched up my passport, with my face just to make sure it's the same person. And without further ado, it's like, "Hey, welcome to Japan. Have a safe trip." And that was it. But Francesca, you ask, do you need a visa to travel to Japan? So last year, yes, you needed a visa, I think around September. You needed a visa in order to travel to Japan, even if you had a passport. But they finally got rid of it at around November. So now, as long as you have an active U.S. passport, you don't need a visa to go to Japan. But that's what customs is like. So that kind of gives you an idea where, okay, and especially, all right, let me just say this. If you are already acting suspicious as soon as you touch down off the plane, you're just asking. You're just asking to get found out. And again, this is what happened to these guys. So let's continue.
Enfin, ma grande surprise, parce qu'il devait l'avaler normalement, et moi je l'avais dans l'estomac. Donc en fait, je me suis retrouvé arrêté parce qu'il a été arrêté premièrement, et en fait il m'a avec une quantité, donc avec cet allemand, en tout de 800 grammes environ de cannabis. Le contrôle s'est passé à la douane. On avait à peu près la moitié, 400 grammes chacun environ. Lui, il les était donné dans ses chaussures. Enfin, ma grande surprise, parce qu'il devait l'avaler normalement, et moi je l'avais dans l'estomac. Donc en fait, je me suis retrouvé arrêté parce qu'il a été arrêté premièrement, et en fait il m'a dans ses chaussures. Enfin, ma grande surprise, parce qu'il devait l'avaler normalement, et moi je l'avais dans l'estomac. Donc en fait, je me suis retrouvé arrêté parce qu'il a été arrêté premièrement, et en fait il m'a dénoncé en disant que je voyageais avec dans ses chaussures.
Okay, so here's what happened. Here's it. I've already said it, but I'll say it again. So the guy who's talking, he swallowed his portion. His traveling partner from Germany, He didn't swallow his portion. He stuck it into his shoe. And this guy who's talking got caught because his traveling partner ratted him out. Again, guilty by association. Again, what did... You know what? Let me show this again. For those who need a recap. Let me bring up Professor Roger again. So we can get another good lesson before we proceed. Professor Roger, could you again explain to the audience what you mean by, will rock you entanglement? Will rock you entanglement? Could you explain it further, Professor Roger?
Hi. So today's lesson, we're going to talk about a different phenomena on this graph here that I think that you need to be aware of. I'm going to use just a hypothetical story that I'm going to completely make up out of my own head that really applies to nobody at all. Okay. So let's say, for instance, there's a comedian and an actor. Okay. They've worked together over the years, maybe not together, but they definitely know each other. They've interacted over the years and there's nothing new here, right? So let's just say we're at some kind of an event and the comedian cracks a little joke about the actor's wife. Little joke, no big deal. This is part of the business. So it's just a little bald-faced joke that shouldn't cause any reaction. This is fucking around at a 1 or maybe even a 0, right? But all of a sudden, the actor responds with a level 10, which the comedian finds out right here. So then you would feel like maybe the gradient line should go something like this. But there's an underlying factor here, okay? The comedian fucked around at a level 1. No big deal. But what the actor mistook was that, say, his wife had been fucking around at a 9, right? So that fucking around gets added to the comedian's activities, putting them at a fuck around level of 10, okay? And that would explain the find out of 10. When the actions of you or somebody else, maybe at a level 1 fuck around, get added with the actions of another, that's called a fuck around entanglement. And what can happen with an entanglement like that is what it can happen is it will rock the axis here, the fuck around axis. All right. And what can happen is if this happens to you repeatedly over time, it can cause you to become jaded. Okay. So just remember that sometimes it may not be your actions that cause the find out, but maybe your actions are entangled with the actions of another, which will fuck around axis, cause you to become jaded.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Roger. Could have said it better myself. So, our dude in the Japanese prison cell, because of the actions of what his traveling partner did, he got caught up. And now he's about to find out. He was probably under the impression, I am non-Japanese and I could just walk into Japan with no care in the world. Me and my homie, we could just walk in like, oh shit. He probably thought that he could just stroll in and, not get in trouble. But because his traveling partner did not do his job, supposedly, and he ratted him out by saying, oh, that guy over there, he was with me. He was doing the same thing I was doing. Let me just say this. This is one of the reasons why, if you're going to have somebody travel with you to these other countries, you better make sure that they are a respectable, civilized individual. Because whatever that individual does in these other countries is going to be a reflection on you. I know, sounds unfair, but it's reality. This is one of the reasons why I've said this before. When I was in Japan, and even when I was in Canada, other melanated people I stayed away from. I did not go out of my way to try to befriend other melanated people in these other countries. Why? Because I did not want their actions, whatever they were doing, whether positive or negative, but definitely anything negative, I didn't want that to be a reflection on me. So, free so. Oh, wait. That would definitely require. I tell you what, Free Zone, if I was not of the civilized manner, then yeah, you definitely would not have to worry about me having to not do my end of the job. But all right, let's continue, folks. Let's continue.
Enfin, ma grande surprise, parce qu'il devait l'avaler normalement, et moi je l'avais dans l'estomac. Donc en fait, je me suis retrouvé arrêté parce qu'il a été arrêté premièrement, et en fait il m'a m'a dénoncé en disant que je voyageais avec lui, et donc voilà, pour environ à peine 800 grammes de cannabis. J'ai eu 4 ans.
So 400 grams of weed gave him 4 years in a Japanese prison. 400 grams of weed. 4 years in a Japanese prison. Now, you probably may be thinking, for 4 years in a Japanese prison, man, that's better than doing 10 to 20 years in American prison. Again, you go ahead and take that chance. You go ahead and think you can go to Japan and pretty much be above the system and above the law. You'll find out, like Professor Roger just said. But let's continue.
En détention.
それでは部屋の中の説明をします。外国人用には
Premier temps, c'est le numéro, c'est-à-dire perte d'identité. C'est maintenant, je m'appelle 4182.
Parce que lorsqu'on arrive, je suis arrivé à Fujou, la première semaine, on doit apprendre notre numéro en japonais, parce qu'on doit rentrer dans le système, se familiariser avec le japonais, puis apprendre la discipline et le règlement, c'est-à-dire les marches. Et puis le plus difficile, je pense que c'est de se familiariser avec le japonais.
Now, even though they will give you a handbook in English in regards of the rules and regulations, in the prison systems, the guards and everybody else will only talk to you in Japanese. So, if you get caught up in this system, you better hope and pray that your Japanese is pretty good. Otherwise, oh boy. Otherwise, how many years you're going to be spending in a Japanese prison? It's going to be some rough years. Yeah, Clue, you're right. The U.S. can still add their own sentence once he gets back. That's true. But again, I think a lot of these guys will probably tell you, if they could do their sentencing in America compared to doing their sentencing in Japan, they'll probably want to do it in America. And you'll see why.
Et la formation, elle est longue, elle se fait sur des mois. Disons qu'il y a un code à avaler qui est un bouquin qui fait au moins 40 pages avec tout ce qu'il faut respecter à l'intérieur de la prison, les exercices qu'il faut faire, les gestes que l'on va faire.
Extrait du règlement de la prison de Fuchu. Avant-propos. À dater de ce jour, vous êtes incarcéré à la prison de Fuchu. Ici, plus de 2000 personnes purgent leur peine et doivent vivre ensemble. C'est pourquoi l'ordre et la discipline doivent y régner. Il est en effet impensable que chacun en fasse à sa guise. C'est dans cet esprit que les règles, qui sont plus nombreuses, vous êtes incarcéré à la prison de Fuchu. Ici, plus de 2000 personnes purgent leur peine et doivent vivre ensemble. C'est pourquoi l'ordre et la discipline doivent y régner. Il est en...
Check this out. It says, it is therefore unthinkable that everybody behave as they wish. Let me repeat that once again for those who are just coming in. It is therefore unthinkable that everybody behave as they wish. Again, this is just a crash course for those who think they can just travel to Japan and do whatever they want to. You mess around, you're going to find out. Let's continue.
En effet impensable que chacun en fasse à sa guise. C'est dans cet esprit que les règles, qui sont plus nombreuses que celles de la vie normale, ont été définies. Cette brochure explique ce qu'il faut savoir et respecter pendant le séjour carcéral. Pour vous éviter des problèmes, il vous appartient de lire ce document jusqu'à la fin. Problème, fin. Cette brochure explique ce qu'il faut savoir.
SKC, if you're still in the chat, can you just imagine with me here, can you just imagine if one of these melanated people got caught up in a Japanese prison and they got to learn how to march everywhere they go? They can't just walk normally or walk with a swag, as they will say. No, you got to march from point A to point B and everywhere else in between. Oh boy. Frizo says the new secret to learning Japanese: book a plane ticket 6 months out, order Rosetta Stone, and invite a pook. The more pooks you invite, the greater the pressure to Hey, that definitely would put some pressure on you to learn Japanese, because if one of those pooks do something wrong, that is your you know what in prison. SKC says something is telling me they don't allow Instagram video making in Japanese prison. Oh no. SKC, I don't know if you caught the first part, but there was another video that we showed. They had to negotiate with the Japanese prison to film in there before they could even do this presentation. So yeah, no tablets, no phones, no computers. They'll give you a TV screen, but they will play whatever they want you to watch. So yeah, you want a new iPhone while in a Japanese prison? Ain't happening. You want to check your social media account while you're in a Japanese prison? Ain't happening. But let's continue.
Et respecter pendant le séjour carcéral. Pour vous éviter des problèmes, il vous appartient de lire ce document jusqu'à la fin. Je souhaite que cette brochure vous permette d'effectuer un parcours sans encombre et que lorsque vous quitterez cette prison, vous serez devenu une personne socialement normale.
La prison de Fuchu a été créée à l'origine pour accueillir les récidivistes, c'est-à-dire des personnes qui ont été condamnées plusieurs fois. Et donc les gens que l'on reçoit ici sont en quelque sorte triés sur le volet.
La population carcérale de la prison de Fuchu se décompose actuellement de la façon suivante. Un peu moins de 500 étrangers, 400 cas dits pathologiques, 900 cas liés à la toxicomanie et 840 cas issus de groupes criminels organisés plus connus sous le nom de Yakuza, la mafia japonaise. Le nombre moyen de condamnations par prisonnier est de 5,1 condamnations et le record est de 40 incarcérations.
De ce fait, la spécificité de la prison de Fuchu est d'accueillir de tout le Japon les cas les plus difficiles à traiter.
Donc l'organisation dans la cellule, elle est très stricte. C'est-à-dire, bon, à l'époque où moi j'étais, on était 300 étrangers. Le gardien, quand il regarde à travers la porte vitrée, il doit voir les mêmes images dans chaque cellule avec la position des mêmes objets et du détenu. C'est-à-dire que l'on a...
So what he just said is that at the time he was in a Japanese prison, there were 300 other foreigners. And organization for them was very, very strict. Actually, you could say it's no different than the organization they gave to Japanese prisoners. The only difference was Japanese prisoners, they already know the protocol. So they didn't have to like be taught or be beaten in how to follow the rules. But the foreigners, different story. And he's talking about how they had to have everything set up exactly as the guards wanted in their cells. And it has to look exactly the same from one cell over to the next. So if you think you're going to come to a Japanese prison and think that you're going to do whatever you want and be some sort of a nail sticking out, you know, you just stick out and you want to be different and you just want to like be different from everybody else, again, mess around and you will find out. Now, let me do this because I gotta bring up some people so they can, you know, they want to join in, they can too, but they can get in on the fun. So let me do this real quick. One moment. I can get this app to start. Come on. Here we go. All right, just getting this woken up. Here we go. Send this to some of the compadres. Here we go. That. And then I got to do one more thing. SKC. So you can't be a real ninja in Japan. SKC. All I can tell you is this: mess around and find out. That's all I can tell you. Mess around and find out. Okay, let me do one more thing, and then we'll continue back. Okay. All right. So I just sent the StreamYard out to those individuals, y'all want to come up, feel free. But let's continue. Let's continue on the fun. And Sage the Highwayman, I need to get your email too. Sit it out later on, but let's continue.
Pas le droit d'être debout déjà, ça c'est c'est interdit. D'allonger ses jambes sur le tatami, c'est interdit, c'est position de lotus. Il est absolument interdit d'appuyer son dos contre le mur, que l'on n'a pas le droit d'être debout déjà, ça c'est interdit. D'allonger ses jambes sur le tatami, c'est interdit, c'est position de lotus. Il est absolument interdit d'appuyer.
So what this guy is saying, and I'll translate it. He says, in your cell, you are forbidden to stand. Like we saw with that one guy earlier, you have to be sitting down. You can either sit down Japanese style or you sit down cross-legged. But you're forbidden from standing up. You will definitely get in trouble. Number 2, he says you can't even stretch on the tatame. So if you're caught stretching on the tatame, you're going to get punished. So no standing, no stretching. And then last but not least, or the third thing he said here is you are forbidden to lean your back against the wall. So for all the dudes out there that want to lean back, good luck trying to do that in a Japanese prison. Ain't happening.
Son dos contre le mur. Il est interdit de regarder par la fenêtre, c'est-à-dire on doit être à l'intérieur de sa cellule, à son poste de travail, sur sa table, et être occupé à une activité intellectuelle, c'est-à-dire travailler la langue, lire, mais absolument interdit d'être oisif.
And so in this case, he said it is forbidden to even be sitting idle by. You got to be doing something. So something productive. Latina, good question. I don't know. I just heard some dudes got back problems, especially those who are not used to sitting in the Japanese style or cross-leg. That's why I say if you're a big guy, it's going to be a little bit difficult sitting in the Japanese style. I haven't heard of anybody that died sitting in that position for so long, but there have been stories of guys who got back problems because they were just not used to it. But let's continue.
En résumé, la prison de Fuchu est l'une des plus importantes en termes d'effectifs. Et d'autre part, c'est celle qui reçoit aussi le plus grand nombre d'étrangers. La capacité de la prison de Fuchu est de 2600 places. Mais aujourd'hui, nous avons environ 2300 prisonniers.
手を振るときに肘は伸びてるけどもだらしなく振るのはダメだ。もっと節度をつけて素早く振れるように。特にその場で足踏みをしているときには足を高く上げないと一人だけ足が合わなくなってしまう。だけで。左は見ない。顔は右だけ。直れ。もう一度やるぞ。右へ習え。上げるときも下ろすときも早くだ。直れ。休め。倒せ。右向け右へ。右向け右。だ。
Now, I will say, if I hadn't known any better, Anybody who was watching this film right now, they would think that, oh, these are cadets being trained in the military, you know, military training and whatnot. But nope. No, sir. This is prison, Japanese style. Again, mess around and you will find out.
L'effectif de personnel travaillant ici est de 550 personnes, dont 360 en contact direct avec les détenus. Le traitement de la prison de Fuchu n'a rien de particulier, parce qu'au Japon, la prison vise essentiellement la réhabilitation des individus. C'est-à-dire qu'il s'agit, dans un premier temps, de les priver de liberté, puis de réduire leurs tendances criminelles, pour enfin les réinsérer au mieux dans la société. C'est-à-dire qu'il s'agit, dans un premier temps, de les priver de liberté, puis de réduire leurs tendances criminelles, pour enfin les réinsérer au mieux dans la société.
So, in this case, what the superintendent is saying is, yeah, their job is to help rehabilitate these prisoners back into society. So how they do it is, one, they deprive them of every single freedom you can think of. Then number two, they then try to reduce their tendencies to do criminal behaviors. And then three, try to reinsert them as best as they can into society. Now, okay. Here's if I had a chance to talk to this superintendent, I would ask him this. So, how do you rehabilitate a sad individual who, number one, has no father figure in their life, and two, was raised by their mama? I mean, it's definitely a serious question, because most likely, because right now we're probably looking at Japanese prisoners, actual Japanese prisoners. There's a good chance most of them have a father figure, so they probably already got the discipline you could think of to rehabilitate them. But what do you do about those individuals who never had a father figure in their life, and they have been raised primarily by their mama? How would you go about rehabilitating those type of individuals? I gotta know. I mean, we see how America handles those individuals, out here in the streets and everything. But I'm just curious, in Japan, when you do have those individuals come into your prison system and their behavior is that of, we'll say, a gaijin, how do you go about rehabilitating those types? So, just a thought, but let's continue.
彼らに対して犯罪性を除去、あるいは少しでもその減少させて、 正常な社会生活への
Notre rôle ici est de les aider, et notre principal objectif est de les empêcher de récidiver.
いった側面も持っております。まあ、つまるところは彼らの再犯を防止するという目的を持っています。
Extrait du règlement de la prison de Fuchu. Chapitre 2. Règlement général. Petit 1. L'égoïsme n'a pas sa place dans la vie en groupe. Petit 2.
Wait. We gotta see that again.
Extrait du règlement de la prison de Fuchu. Chapitre 2. Règlement général. Petit 1. L'égoïsme n'a pas sa place dans la vie.
Regulation number 1. Egoism does not have any place when we live in a group. Let me read that again. Egoism has no place, or does not have any place, when we live in a group. So you're telling me that in these Japanese prisons, I can't be myself? You know, I can't express myself? Oh. Ooh, boy, that's gonna be tough. That is gonna be tough. Ugh. Let's continue.
Vie en groupe. Petit 2. Il faut faire preuve de politesse et de respect envers les autres. Petit 3. Il faut mettre à profit sa détention pour réfléchir sur ses actes passés et faire des projets d'avenir. Il faut faire preuve de politesse et de respect envers les autres. Petit 3.
Number 3. You should take advantage of your detention to think about your past actions.
Il faut mettre à profit sa détention pour réfléchir sur ses actes passés
and make plans for the future. Oh my God! What is this? You mean to tell me that I gotta reflect on my actions of what I did, and I need to plan for the future? What nonsense is this? Oh, boy, I tell you, we got it easy over here. We definitely got it easy in America. Let's continue.
Profit sa détention pour réfléchir sur ses actes passés et faire des projets d'avenir. Petit 16. Il faut toujours suivre les ordres du gardien, même s'il n'en est pas fait état dans cette brochure.
Okay, Sage, you asked a very good question. How is it that we have it easy? Okay, I'll put it like this, Sage. And SKC can vouch for this because he has shown it on many of his streams. Here in the American prison systems, dudes really got it easy. You could be behind bars, life in prison, for killing somebody or just an extravagant way of how you commit your crimes. But you can work out, so to speak, in your prison cells. You pretty much can sleep in if you want, depending on what time they give you. You can receive letters in prisons. I mean, heck, dudes can receive gifts in prison, like cell phones and tablets, and have a social media account and everything. That's having it pretty easy here in America. even from a prisoner standpoint. Over here in Japan, I know, Sage, you say that's not easy, but compared to Japanese prison, that is easy. You do have some form of freedom and individualism in American prison. Sure, you may not be free, but they do give you some forms of individualism. Whereas Japanese prison, they don't give you that type of option. What's going on, Free Zone?
Yeah, what's good, brother? What's good? And let me drive that point home just a little bit further. Am I clear? Am I good?
Yeah, you coming in loud and clear.
You have homeless people in the United States that will willingly go to jail just to get off the streets.
Yep.
It is a cycle that, like when I was in Detroit, it happened all the time. Especially when it gets in the wintertime, it's cold. You don't want to be out there in that snow and stuff. Yeah, man. Let me steal this. Let me steal this right here and do some time. Let me hem this person up real quick. Let me punch this person so I can go sit down for the winter. Like that's a very common thing. They're not doing that in Japan. They're not doing that in there's no part in Japan where somebody's doing that.
Nah, I heard a story too where some older guy, looked like he was probably like in his 50s or whatnot, just got out of prison for some crime, goes home, and within a week later, he commits another felony just to go back to prison. Why? Because he didn't want to hear from his nagging wife.
There you go. There you go. And it's all in comparison. It's all in comparison. Like, we're talking about prison. I don't think Sigma was saying that prison is easy.
Oh no.
But compared to all the other prisons, it's like Holiday Inn, man. They leave a mint on the pillow. You know what I mean? They get that nice little chocolate. They leave a light on for it. It's worlds apart. It's luxurious over here compared to over there in Japan and other parts of the world, man. Other parts of the world. It's just not, and there's no human rights is a thing in the States when you get locked up. Like, you still have certain rights after you get locked up. And a lot of times overseas, when you become a criminal, once you cross over, it's over. It's over.
Right.
The human rights and all that stuff, you're not, and like human rights advocates, you know, in Japan, there might be a small little group of them doing it, but they're not. No. Ain't nobody fighting for you. Ain't nobody fighting for you once you get locked up.
No,
That's it.
not at all. Not at all. I mean, heck, I think it was in Minnesota where they just became the first state that allowed prisoners to have the right to vote.
Yeah,
So,
man. Yeah. Sage, if Sage gets locked up, there's no Asians out there with signs like free Black Godzilla, free Gorilla. No, they're not. Nah, you in there, bro. you're just in there. And then if you don't know any Japanese, it's over, man. It's over. Ichikaro die, huh? I said Ichikaro die. What'd you say? Nah, bro, it's not. It's not happening.
get a fistful to the face.
Yeah. They not, and nobody cares to translate for you. That's what I'm saying, bro. I if I really wanted to learn Japanese, I'd do it, man. Book a ticket 6 months from now. Book a ticket 6 months from when your Rosetta Stone get in. So you order Rosetta Stone, Japanese version. You book a ticket about 6 months out, and you find you some aggressive pooks that ain't got no record and say, hey, man, y'all want to go to Japan with me in 6 months? I'll pay for it. Ain't nobody finna turn that down.
Right.
And the more pooks you invite, the more you got to study, because it's only a matter of time as soon as you touch down that one of them pooks is going to get you in trouble. But at least you know Japanese, and then you can flip it. So now you're the only person in your group of pooks that knows Japanese, and you can just tell them all kind of stuff. Yeah, the guard told you to do this. No, he didn't. And you can make their lives, man, come on, man. There's a lot of fun you could have with that. That's a whole TV show, bro. That's a whole Black Ronins. Never mind. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to circle back on.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But let's continue. Let's continue.
Là, il y a un code très strict où le matin, il y a la distribution des repas. Tout est minuté et secondé. Hein. L'appel, où on dit son numéro, le repos où on refait son lit, qui est plié comme à l'armée.
Oh, and that's another thing. But before we continue, so the guy just mentioned earlier in this video, you are recognized by a number. No names, no nicknames, no whatever you want to call yourself, rapper type of name in prison. No, you are issued a number, and that is the number you better answer to, even if it's in Japanese, because they're not going to call you by your name, which again, definitely in American prison, you at least are able to still be called by your name. But over there, no, you're just a number system. You're just a number. So I'm still trying to figure out like. But let's continue. Let's continue.
Tant de centimètres sur tant de centimètres, la serviette qui ne doit pas dépasser d'un centimètre d'un bord, les étagères rangées. Il est absolument interdit d'aller toucher au robinet d'eau. Il est interdit de se laver les dents à l'extérieur des données. Tout est vraiment structuré et minuté dans les faits et dans les gestes.
This dude just says there's even a certain time where you have to brush your teeth. It's not no, oh, you can brush your teeth sometime in the morning. Oh, just make sure you brush your teeth before 12 noon. No. Come 8 o'clock a.m., you better be starting brushing your teeth or there will be consequences.
Mm-hmm. Every part of your life is planned out. There's no room for decision. No room.
Oh, my. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Extrait du règlement de la prison de Fuchu, chapitre 7, le travail. Premièrement, obligation de travail. Le travail est l'aspect le plus important de la vie du prisonnier. Même dans la vie sociale, travailler apparaît normal et fondamental.
So the handbook just says, when you're in a Japanese prison, you're gonna work. Ain't gonna be no, oh, I'm just gonna lounge around, do nothing, or when I feel like it, I'll probably go to the prison yard and work out, do something. No. After breakfast, as you saw, you gonna work. Now, we saw the white guy when he was working, he had to fold some paper bags to make them into, or fold some paper into some paper bags. But I'm pretty sure there's some other jobs. In fact, I've heard there's still some prisons in Japan where they even send you to like I guess one of those mining camps where you'll spend a whole day just mining for minerals and stuff.
LeQuint Dickey Mining Company. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They gonna work you. Then after that, they gonna hit you with a hammer, throw you in the hole.
Right. So if you think, so to speak, that you're going to cruise through life without having to work, don't come to Japan. Do not come to Japan.
And I don't even think that's a. Is that even is that even a task that facilitates a specific goal, or is that just like busy work?
Oh no. Well, I guess you could say it's two ways. So it is busy work, but like the superintendent just said in the film, their job is to help rehabilitate you back into society. So
Right.
working is considered part of society. So even if you're doing something that's so manual and it's repetitive and all, the goal is once you get out of prison, you're going to be looking for work, and work is going to hopefully prevent you from going back into prison.
Right, right. Well, I was just wondering what he said that they make paper. Well, what
Yeah.
did he say? They make paper.
They make paper grocery bags or shopping bags.
Right, right. So people use those. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, is that a mundane thing, or like people actually use those?
Oh no,
Like
they
on the out.
yeah, on the outside, yeah, they do. Like if you go to like some of the convenience stores, like in the neighborhoods and all, if you're having like a large groceries or bag of groceries, they do give you paper bags that you can take with you.
Okay, cool. So so companies have like outsourced their work to prison. All right, gotcha.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was like you make a bag and you had a guard next to you. He crumples it, throws it away, and says again. And then you make another bag. He crumples it up right in your face again.
I'll probably think. I think what happened though is you do have a guard that stands there, and if the paper bag does not look precise, like something that is going to be usable, yeah, he'll crumble up and be like, "Do it again."
Right.
And then finally, when you finally get it perfect and all, then he'll put it to the side. Okay, these are going, to the outside.
Out of 500, these 30 are sufficient.
Right.
God damn, man.
Yeah. I'm telling you, these dudes got it easy over here. I'm just saying. Let's continue.
La loi oblige le détenu à accepter le travail qui lui est assigné. C'est pourquoi, même si le travail assigné ne correspond pas aux souhaits du détenu, il doit néanmoins travailler consciencieusement et avec ardeur.
So this dude just said, no matter what, you could be given a work that you don't like, or you just like, man, I just don't want to work this type of job. Oh, you gonna work it. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You gonna work it. Oh boy. Let's continue.
Le refus de travailler, la nonchalance au travail ou le fait de demander à changer de travail sont des actes qui vont à l'encontre de cette obligation et qui, par conséquent, sont hautement répréhensibles et avec ardeur. Le refus de travailler, la nonchalance au travail ou le fait de demander à changer de travail sont des actes qui vont à l'encontre de cette obligation et qui, par conséquent, sont hautement...
Wait, free zone. This dude just said, even just asking to change jobs in a Japanese prison is an act of disobedience and is highly reprehensible. So can you just imagine? You folded these paper bags and everything, and you're just like, sir, could I just go clean the floors? I don't want to do this work anymore. Could I be clean the floors around the prison cells and all? 15 days in the padded cell.
Yeah, bruh. I think because I was looking at something. I think it's the what's the prison that starts with the F? Fushu prison.
Fuju.
Fuju prison. 47% of the people in that prison are in solitary confinement.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everybody ain't built like that. You just not.
Man, you could be put in solitary confinement for just asking to switch jobs. All right.
Répréhensible. Le travail étant imposé par la loi, il appartient au détenu de faire les efforts nécessaires et de rechercher du plaisir dans son travail.
And just notice with these guards. Now, most likely, you know, these particular prisoners are Japanese prisoners. But notice with the guards, they don't have guns on them. They don't have any weapons and everything. They, you know, you probably think to yourself, wow, this is a pretty chill prison. Yeah, it's pretty chill because it's beating into you to be disciplined.
It's like advanced, extreme, basic training.
Right. So,
Mhm.
you know, you're probably thinking, oh, these guards don't have any guns on them and whatnot. I could probably take advantage. No, sir, you don't want to try. As Professor Rogers say, mess around, you're gonna find out. Let's continue.
10個上15名。お願いします。ストレッチ。足踏み、走れ。あれ。前へ、進め。
Le travail, eh bien, on travaille 7 jours sur 8, 8 heures par jour. Donc à partir du moment où on quitte la cellule, on part au pas militaire avec un gardien qui escorte. Changement de tenue qui dure à peu près 1 minute 30. À chaque fois, bien sûr, on est recompté. On se re-signale par son numéro. Avant de commencer, il y avait des maximes à réciter. Il y avait 5 principales maximes. Être honnête, être en harmonie avec son entourage. Après, chaque personne réintègre son poste. Et là, il y a le capitaine et le maître de cérémonie qui est sur son estrade, qui est le gardien principal. C'est-à-dire qu'il y a un gardien pour 80 personnes. Donc, dans chaque unité de travail, on était à peu près 3% d'étrangers.
はいという砂の心。すいませんという反省の心。おかげさまという献上の心。させていただくという奉仕の心。ありがとうという感謝の心。
Donc à partir de ce moment-là, une fois que le signal est donné, c'est le rendement. C'est-à-dire que tout ce que l'on fait est enregistré, son rendement de travail est enregistré, sa tenue, bien sûr il est absolument interdit de faire un geste, de regarder par les fenêtres, soit de discuter avec son voisin, c'est vraiment, on doit...
So while you're working, you can't even talk to the dude next to you.
Nah. And while you're eating, you can't look to the left or to the right of you.
Nope.
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead. Bro, I'm telling you right now, there's gonna be some pook, even though it's already happened, but there's gonna be some pook who really thinks he is above the system and above the law. And this dude is going to find out. He gonna find out real quick. This ain't America.
Hey man, you ain't finna be talking to me all kind of way, man. I'm a man first. Yeah, okay. All right. All right, you a man first? All right, cool. Why don't you follow that guard to that padded room?
Right. Follow that guard to the padded room. And if you think you're really a man, we're going to give you seven days, no food or water. So we'll see how tough you are. And then when we do give you food or water, it's just water and rice.
Yep. And you know what's crazy too, man? From what I understood from the information I gathered, right? They only speak Japanese.
Yep.
But there's no willingness from anybody on any side to help you learn Japanese when you get in there. It's like you got to figure it out as you go.
Yep. So you would think some of these Gaijin prisoners, their Japanese should be pretty good when they come out.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Better know it all, man.
Right?
You can't, Pook gonna have a hard time. That motherfucker, he barely know English.
Bro, that's
He's gonna go in there try to learn some Japanese, man. Like it's not nah, man. They're not ready.
Bro, that's why I asked the question when the superintendent talked about how, yeah, our goal is to, rehabilitate these men so that, number one, we reduce their freedom, personal freedoms and everything. Number two, we work on them having less tendencies for criminal behaviors. And then three, we try the best we can to reinsert them back into society. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. I'm with it and everything. But here's where I got to ask the question. So a lot of these Japanese prisoners, for the most part, they had a father in the home. So already they have some sort of idea of discipline. Even if, they was on the wrong path and did something wrong, they got some sort of idea of how to be disciplined in that type of society. But what do you do when you get that one prisoner who, one, have no father figure in their life whatsoever, and then two, was pretty much raised by just their mom?
That is an interesting one.
I mean, to me, that definitely got to be a question I would love to ask, because surely they have dealt with some prisoners, whether Japanese or non-Japanese, who did not have a father figure and, was pretty much just raised by their mom. Even if their mom also was civilized, or I guess you say for the Japanese side, they were civilized, but you will have one where their mama was like, you could do no wrong, baby. You are precious and special just the way you are.
Right. I mean, yeah, I would imagine a Japanese single mom would hit differently because like that type of thinking, that's not even built into their society on that way of thinking that you're special just the way you are. I mean, that would probably be more amongst the younger folks that have, they got some type of social media, and they're basically mentally integrated with Western society, even though they live in Japan. Like you would probably get a lot of it from those types of people.
Right.
But like the further out you get from, let's say the mainland, even amongst single moms, for whatever reason, they're not thinking that way.
Yep. Yep. Well, let's continue.
On doit produire. Avec la condamnation de prison, on est obligé, c'est travaux forcés, on est obligé de travailler. Il est absolument impossible de passer outre ces mesures. Il est interdit d'être oisif dans une cellule, d'ailleurs ça n'existe pas. On est formé pour le travail, pour devenir quelqu'un de productif.
Le travail obligatoire, ce n'est ni des travaux forcés, ni de l'esclavage. On leur enseigne des techniques et à travers cela, ils acquièrent les connaissances et la pratique nécessaires à l'exercice d'un métier. Il existe beaucoup d'activités pour les prisonniers. Il y a de la menuiserie, de la couture, de la maroquinerie, de la chaudronnerie, de la mécanique auto, etc. Au Japon, les prisonniers ne touchent pas de salaire. Mais à présent, en fonction de leur production et de leur conduite, ils touchent une prime de gratification payée par l'État.
Le salaire est symbolique puisque moi, au bout de 2 ans, je gagnais 40 francs. Et ces 40 francs étaient réinjectés dans le système de la prison. On payait nos brosses à dents, le savon, le dentifrice, le papier pour le...
So, okay. So what they just said there is working in a Japanese prison means you're not going to get a salary. So you can't even accept donations and all. If you think you want to be in a Japanese prison and you're going to have somebody wire you a Cash App or a PayPal, that ain't happening. You ain't gonna
what you mean? No, but there's nobody to put money on your books.
No, sir. No, sir.
Boy. Oh boy.
So take that into account. You don't have a salary when you're working, and then when they do pay you, it's a system to where you're earning a small sum, but that sum of money is used to pay for your toothbrush, pay for your soap, pay for your toothpaste, pretty much every essential that you can say in American prison where they give to you for free. Oh no. You want a toothbrush? Yeah. That's £4.
That's it. They man, bruh. Black people mad talking about they 3/5 of a person here. Bro, you ain't even an eighth of a person over there. You ain't even a 16th.
Right.
You better take the fraction you got. You better take it, man.
You better be glad that they call you by your name and whatnot.
Yeah,
even if
man.
It's, some made up name you call yourself, but they'll at least respect you by that. Over there, it's like, nah, you're just number 5472. Number 5472. Get to the stands.
That's it. You better know that number.
Oh yeah, better know it in Japanese.
You imagine sitting there, a guard sitting there yelling your number out, and you looking around.
Man, he keep calling this number, and I don't know which one he talking to.
Who's Itch? Hey, Itch. hey, Itch. I think he's talking about you, Itch.
And then next thing you know, you just get a flying fist to the face. Like, what did I do?
This is my point at you. Itch. Oh my God, man.
Ooh, boy.
Get about 2 or 3 of those in, you start realizing the solitary confinement. Oh, arm itch. Damn. All the wasted years.
You spent 2 years just getting slapped and punched and beaten across the floor, and then the third you find, oh, that number is me.
Oh my God, man. Oh, bruh.
Yeah.
You had that rush hour moment where you sitting there, somebody tries to tell you, some Japanese person who don't know nothing talking about, hey, Ichi's what? Like, man, why you ain't telling me you knew English? I never said I didn't know English. You just assumed I didn't know English.
Oh, let's continue.
Le courrier.
Je pense que, disons que la première semaine est quand même intensive, parce qu'en fait, on apprend tout, à se tenir, à marcher, à s'asseoir, à manger, à saluer. On apprend le respect envers l'officier, le respect envers nos co-détenus. On doit tout réapprendre. On est obligé de rentrer dans un système, dans le système de cette prison, le système militaire, le système culturel, parce qu'on apprend tout. On doit faire face à cette culture.
Nous allons vous expliquer les règles de la vie ici. Elles sont très importantes. D'abord, on va vous expliquer la nourriture. C'est sans doute ce qui vous préoccupe le plus. Il existe 3 menus. Menu A, menu B, menu C. Le menu A contient 1650 kilocalories.
La quantité de nourriture est calculée en fonction du travail du prisonnier. Par exemple, pour ceux qui travaillent beaucoup ou restent longtemps debout, on leur donne le menu A. Pour ceux qui travaillent assis sur les ordinateurs, par exemple, on donne le menu B. Pour ceux qui travaillent dans leur chambre, au pliage de papier, par exemple, on donne le menu C. Ici, à la prison de Fuchu, il y a aussi beaucoup de prisonniers étrangers. Et donc, à ceux pour qui l'aliment principal est le pain, et à ceux qui ne peuvent pas manger de riz, on donne du pain.
So, oh, okay, free zone drop. So pretty much what the guy was saying is, the dietitian, that there are 3 types of menus in a Japanese prison. There's the menu A, menu B, and menu C. Menu A is for those who are going to be working a lot, standing up or moving around a lot and everything. They give them like a high calorie type of meal, even though it's not really high calories. But they give them a little bit more calories because they're going to be doing a lot of movement, standing up. Menu B is for those who are going to be sitting down most of the time, like on a computer, maybe a desk job and whatnot. So they give you menu B. And menu C is for those who are only doing their work inside of their prison cells, like folding paper bags. And so they said for foreigners, because foreigners are not used to eating rice most of the time, they just give them bread. Let's continue. We'll do a few more minutes and then I'll call it a day.
ご飯を食べれないものの受刑者につきましては、こちらのパンを給与しております。
はい。うん、今日の検食に。はい。ご飯パンともに B 食1人前です。はい。うん、味はいいじゃん。うん、ありがとうございます。
Alors le déjeuner, donc midi moins le quart, on arrête les machines, contrôle que tous les outils soient à leur place, on se met en rang, et donc on va s'installer dans le réfectoire. Et là on a un quart d'heure pour manger, avec interdiction de parler bien sûr. Donc ça se passe, le bruit c'est juste la mastication des mâchoires, comme les Japonais savent très bien le faire. Non, je n'ai pas eu. De toute façon, c'est pas la principale source d'inquiétude, la nourriture, parce que je crois qu'au bout d'un moment, ça sort de la tête. D'ailleurs, c'est pas très bon. Hein. Je veux dire, la nourriture, ça n'a pas de goût. C'est du basique, on mange parce qu'il faut manger. Normalement, il y a la quantité nécessaire, mais c'est pas primordial, quoi. Je veux dire, c'est pas l'inquiétude essentielle. Il y a ce qu'il faut pour manger, c'est tout. Donc, quand le repas est terminé, on vide ses bols. Bien sûr, il est interdit de gaspiller. Après, on a 8 minutes où l'on a l'autorisation de discuter entre nous à voix basse. Et bien sûr, sans se lever, sans bouger à l'intérieur du réfectoire. Une fois les 8 minutes passées, on réintègre son poste, avec bien sûr toujours la même histoire, numéro, contrôle.
Papa,
Quand on arrive et que l'on voit ce système, ça surprend parce que on se dit mais je deviens un robot, je suis formé pour être un robot, je n'ai plus d'identité, je ne porte plus de nom, je n'ai qu'un numéro, tourne à droite, tourne à gauche, va tout droit, plie en métal, soude, marque combien tu as soudé, voilà, on est réduit à être un robot.
Okay, I think we'll pause it here for now because it's almost that time. But I got more. If you thought this is just all that Sigma Jones have to show for today, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. So there will be a part 3 to this. I don't know when I'll do it, but there will definitely be a part 3. In the meantime, feel free to share this stream with some individuals or people and whatnot, and especially those that you think are untouchable, that they could just go to any country and whatnot, or especially to Japan, and think that they could just be in and everything they want with no repercussions. Just let them know, watch this stream by Sigma Jones, and then tell me you're still going to go to Japan and do what you're going to do or do what you want to do. But with that, just want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's been fun. It's definitely been fun. I can't wait to do this again and everything because it was fun. Shout out to Angry Snowman. Good to see you, sir. I'm just about to close down, but yeah, definitely catch the replay when you can because it's interesting. But all I can say is for those out there, well, my audience, you guys know. Y'all are civilized and whatnot, so this is definitely not pertaining to y'all. But for those out there that think that they are above the law that because they're American, they can just go to any country and just do whatever they want. All I can tell you, in the words of Professor Roger, you F around, you will find out. So, with that said, thank you all for tuning in. Catch you all on the replay. Until next time.